Well, it's Wednesday, and you all know what that means. As you know, we continue with more of New Japan's Pro Wrestling's World Tag League as we get closer and closer to the conclusion. So, a lot of things could happen before then. Of course, some wrestlers are already out of the tournament and whatnot. And of course, we move on with AEW Dynamite featuring more with the Continental Classic with a blue and gold league match. So, we will see how far they progress on that. And of course, we have other matches taking place as well. Jay White versus Pac. That's going to be a very interesting thing to watch. But first things first, we're going to be reviewing Marvel's much recent event from early this month, back on December 1st in Korakuen Hall, celebrating Chigusa Nagayo's birthday. But she will be main eventing by teaming up with none other than, of course, Titus Alexander, Masato Tanaka. They take on Takumi Iroha, Leo Aisaka, and of course, everybody knows this guy, the Golden Star, Kota Ibushi. So that's going to be one fun match. And then we cap up our episode, of course, with some news updates to give you guys updates on what's been happening in the world of pro wrestling, such as what events the promotions are thrown out, who's booked, what matches are set, including developments that are happening in the world of pro wrestling as we speak. So, let's get ready for another episode of the Leaded Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up! 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 Get up, get up!
Hey everyone, welcome to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that it's pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, TNA, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, J-Rod here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is the channel where we do a lot of pro wrestling reviews from various promotions, not only here in the United States, but also in Japan, Mexico, Canada, Europe, the UK, anywhere in the world. Pro wrestling is not as big, but it continues to grow. We also, of course, do discussion videos, talk about various topics such as the wrestlers themselves, the promotions, factions, storylines, whatever we want to talk about. We also, of course, do more news updates. If certain information was unable to be on this episode, we can either put it on the next one or on a separate video by itself. We also, of course, do real-timing news updates to keep you guys on alert if something has happened in the world of pro wrestling that needs to be addressed ASAP. We also, of course, got the Unagi Sayaka Watch and various other cool wrestling content as well. So if you like what you see, please subscribe to us. So click on that subscribe button. You'll be getting a lot of daily reviews and other cool wrestling content as well. But if you like this episode, please give us a like on the like button or a nice comment in the description down below. Now, all introductions set aside, and I believe it's time to give it all she's got, Captain. So, let's begin with our very first review, and this one is, of course, is from Marvelous. Okay, Marvelous. This is their much recent event that took place early this month in Korakuen Hall on December 1st. And of course, it's the celebration of the founder of Marvelous and Yoshi legend Chigusa Nagayo, who turned 61, I believe. And of course, you have many wrestlers coming in, and we do have men's exhibition matches and all that. And we do have a title match, which is the AEW Tag Team title. So we'll see how that goes. But let's begin with our first match. As you all know, we have the trainee, Senka Akatsuki, taking on Riko Kawahara. Now, of course, Senka, as you know, she is the new girl. She will be learning and growing significantly. I think this is her fourth match so far to be involved in this match. But what's impressive is how Miko was able to pick up the win by applying a springboard moonsault on the middle rope, and just like that, it was over. Now our second match, it's our men's exhibition match. Kevin Blackwood taking on Vinny Masario. I thought it was a pretty good match. I mean, I have seen these two guys up close when I went to see West Coast Pro back in September. But yeah, it was a pretty good match. I mean, Vinny is a very tough SOB, but when it comes to Kevin, he with Blackwood, he's a bit calculated in some capacity. He was able to do that by applying a diving foot stomp onto, of course, on Vinny, and just like that, he picked up the win. Now, our next match is a battle royale. So we have, of course, Eilhausen, Unagi Sayaka, Maria, Sadie Gibbs, Isuki Aoki, Chikayo Nagashima, Nightshade, and that's pretty much everybody involved. Now, they never specified for like a number one contendership or anything, but I cannot tell you exactly how because I got confused exactly who was eliminated and all that. But yeah, I thought it was a very interesting matchup. I wasn't too sure where that was lead, but of course, one by one, everybody was eliminated. But the last two remaining wrestlers that were involved in this battle royale was Nagashima and Maria. Now, of course, many of you would think Nagashima, who is a veteran, would have picked up the win, but Maria was able to pick up a good win by eliminating her. And just like that, it was completely over. However, during the post match, now I don't know what Nagashima said to Maria. I'm sure she gave her high praises for a well job done, being in this match. So I'm sure because we have seen Maria how grown up she has become over the last few years. Not to mention her success as a member of the tag team Magenta with Rico. So we'll see how things will progress with her. Now, our next match, we do have another trainee making her official debut in Korakuen Hall. Her name is um, Seiya Ayami, and she takes on Aja Kong. So many of you would think, oh boy, Kong is gonna kill you. Kong is gonna kill you. I mean, if that match happened here in the States, that's exactly what would have happened. But it's a good opportunity for someone like Ayame to learn, knowing the fact that you'll be facing tougher individuals like Aja Kong. Everybody knows how tough she is, and she's a bit difficult to defeat. Well, not well, extremely difficult. I mean, for her size, and of course being a legend, that's one of the things that, of course, puts it out. But of course, you would assume that Aja Kong would use either a back fist or an elbow, but no, she used a lariat to take her out, and just like that, we were done. Now, our next match is a tag team title match. The AAW, it's the AAW tag team titles are defended. The challengers, we have Jesse Jackson and Hyan taking on Bobo Momo Banana, consisting of Yurika Oka and Miyu Momono. Now, I wasn't too sure exactly what was going on, but I'm sure what happened in back last month and on the 22nd, Jessie was in fact getting in the face of Neo. I believe she was determined to ask for, of course, tag team titles shots. So it looks like um, Chigusa actually made it happen. So many of you would think, okay, will she be able to obtain these belts? I mean, it would have been a possible thing. I mean, Baba Momo Banana are becoming a success as a tag team, despite the fact that Oka, she is from Sendai Girls. But they were able to pick up a win when, of course, Mio applied a backslide, and just like that, it was over. Now, our next match, which is the main event we've been expecting, we have, of course, Titus Alexander, Masato Tanaka, and, of course, the birthday girl, Chigusa Nagayo. They all team up. Their opponents is, of course, Leo Azaka, Takumi Iroha, and, of course, the Golden Star, Kota Ibushi. I think the best moment in this match is when, of course, you look at Kota Ibushi. I mean, the years of his experience, what he's brought to the table in pro wrestling, facing off against a legend like Chigusa. There was like that stare moment. You guys know when there's like a stare moment where you just want to say "holy shit" countless times. That's one of those moments that, of course, you would say because it sets it up right there. But in the end, it was, of course, Ibushi with the Kame Goye onto Titus Alexander, and it was just like that, over. Uno, dos, tres. But of course, the the event does not end with, of course, with the founder of Marvelous and Yoshi legend Chigusa Nagayo doing her promo. She does praise everybody who was there, being Kota Ibushi, Tadas Alexander, and everybody else were there. And I think everybody were there to celebrate her birthday, so which is a very touching moment. And then, of course, everybody did a group photo and did her just like that. Thought it was fun. So I think that's pretty much it for Marvelous. I believe it's time to move on with none other than New Japan Pro Wrestling. Okay, day 12 of New Japan Pro Wrestling's World Tag League. So we're only focusing on B block matches only. So we will see how that progresses. Now, our first match, we have just four guys, Taka Michinoku and Taichi, taking on TMDKs, our former tag team champions, Shane Haste and Mikey Nichols. So you would think that this is going to be an interesting. Now, the fact is, we know that Taka and Taichi are officially out of the tournament, so they're determined to finish it up. But do we think that TMDK has a chance? I mean, they don't have the necessary points, so most they could be out. But nonetheless, it was a great combination move between both Hayes and Nichols that put away Taka, and just like that, it was Mikey to pick up the win for his team, leaving them with just 6 points. But as for just four guys, they remain at 2. Our next match, we have the Natural Classics, Stevie and Tome Philippe versus our current IWGP Tag Team Champions, Great Hinare, Hinare and Great Okan. So basically, you would think that okay, Philippe and Tomo, they don't have a chance due to the fact that they're already eliminated with lesser points that they already have. So that kind of explains it in every way. However, they were still no match for our current tag team champions because it was Tome who ended up on the wrong side of the Imperial drop, pinned by Khan, giving them the points of 10. So most likely they're currently in the lead. So basically, most likely they could actually win their block and move on to the finals. Our next match, we have a bit of a showdown. Bolton Oleg and Toroyanu, as you all know, they are 2/3 of the never open weight tag team, 6-man tag team champions, along with their opponent who will be there, Hiroshi Tanahashi, who is one of them too. As you know, he's been teaming up with Yado. Now, of course, the significance that both teams have been eliminated out in some ways or another. But of course, you have to know that Yano will play up to his old tricks as always. I mean, you know how Kevin Kelly would say, "Oh, my monitor went out." That's one of the most significant things that we know about Yano. But he did pull up a roll up on Yano, and just like that, they walk away with 6 points, leaving Yano and Tanahashi with just 4. Now, our main event, well, these two teams are no strangers because the leader of the House of Morons, Evil, is involved in this one to take on Lij, Hiromu Takahashi, and Tetsuya Naito. But however, of course, that effing weasel dick gets involved. Yeah, how many times this dirtbag has to be involved? I mean, I'm getting sick of him. I wish someone just choke him out. But however, the most interesting thing, Hiromu Takahashi super kicked Naito. And of course, Evil, being the most predictable prick on the planet, thought he had the upper hand. But Hiromu played a dirty trick on him, one that I don't think Evil anticipated it because it was pure genius. Now, we don't know for sure if Naito had this plan or this was something that, of course, Hiromu pulled out of his ass. I don't know. I cannot speak on that. I mean, that's the real question. But I can't believe Hiromu pulled it off. And of course, Evil let his guard down because he would love nothing more to destroy Naito once and for all. And it backfired. So basically, it was Naito to put away that moron, Narita, out with the Destino, giving them their next 6 points. I'm sure right now Evil is, of course, blowing up steam up his ass. Couldn't believe that this happened to him. I mean, he would have done the same thing in every possible, but It did not. Well, good riddance, dickhead, as Zack Sabre Jr. would say. So even though it was a fun match, so we'll see what happens down the line. So I think we're pretty much it with New Japan. I believe it's time for AEW Dynamite. Okay, AEW Dynamite. As we continue with more of the Continental Classic, so let's begin with that match. We have the Blue League. We have the Standard of Excellence, Shelton Benjamin taking on the Proto Star, Kyle Fletcher. Now, of course, these two guys come up with a good start in day one of the tournament, each receiving 3 points each. But the real question is, who will walk out to lead, of course. Now, as you all know, in these type of matches, there is no seconds involved. They want to keep this clean as possible. But what thing we did not anticipate is how this match ended. Kyle Fletcher applied a roll up on Benjamin, but that sleazy little piece of garbage, Kyle Fletcher decided that he was going to use the ropes. And I'm sure, but we did see a little later, MVP was not happy with the results because they would have presumed, because of their loss, their idea is being the Hurt Syndicate is hurt them back. I mean, of course, Kyle Fletcher just ran like with his tails between his legs, but sooner or later, I'm sure that Shelton Benjamin will get retribution for that match, one way or another. Now, we did see Hook. As you all know, Hook is now been on piss off mode when he realized that his father was attacked by Christian Cage, who's trying to determine, saying, I will be your father. Bullshit. Yeah, he thinks he's that. And of course, he did hear what Nick had to say last weekend. And of course, Hook is not impressed. He did say he wants Christian at Hammerstein, which is where his father made his start. And of course, the patriarch showed up to attack, and that dumb matriarch herself, Shayna Wayne, showed up, and then Christian Cage showed up to give a concerto to Hook. But one way or the other, Hook will get his revenge on Christian for what he did to his dad. But Christian wants him to understand that he needs to forget about it, Taz, and accept him as his father. But it's not going to happen. So we'll see where that goes. Now, we did see an interview with Renee Paquette talking to Mercedes Moné, talking about what happened to Camille, but I don't think Mercedes actually cares about that. I think her only careness is watching the match between Anna Jay and Penelope Ford. That's one of the matches she's going to pay attention to. So we will see what happens because that match will happen later. Now, we did have the Dynamite Dozen Battle Royale. So this is a match where, of course, who will challenge MJF for the Dynamite Diamond Ring, which he has won, what, 3, 4 times, somewhere around there? How many times did this event happen? Like 3 or 4 times? Somewhere around there. But yes, but the idea how this match would end is whoever's the last two, they will face each other next week or something, and then they'll face MJF later on. But we did not anticipate a lot of tensions about certain things. I mean, this match ended with Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole be the last two, which is going to be interesting, of course. Of course, O'Reilly has problems with Adam Cole for what transpired with Roderick Strong. He's trying to tell him that you were playing into MJF's hand, and he knows it. So basically, Cole doesn't understands that, but he wants to take matters in his own hands. Now, before his match with Max Caster was in an interview was talking with Daddy Ass and Anthony Bowens because they're not too keen on the idea of Max Caster being involved in a match with Swerve, but of course Max is determined to do it. Now, you would think that Max Caster had what it takes to do that. And that's exactly what he was trying to do. I mean, he basically was under the influence of the Hurt Business, and I think that was a mistake out of his part. But you would guess that Swerve got what he wanted. He gave him a house call. 1, 2, 3 is over. But he decided to teach him another lesson. So he gave him a Swerve stomp for good measure. Now, MJF, as you know, he is the salt of the earth for many reasons. He likes to gloat on certain aspects. He's happy to see what happened, seeing Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole facing off each other to see who will be the one to take him out. And I think that brings a lot of joy to his heart, knowing, yeah, but we'll see where that goes. I'm sure he's going to have the last laugh in some ways. Now, our next match, we have Jay White versus Pac. Now, Jay White has his fair issues towards, of course, the Death Riders. Now, of course, wherever the Death Riders are at, they're always there. But that's sleazeball Wheeler Yuta was right there by his side getting involved. Now, you would think because of Wheeler Yuta's help, it did not do any good for him because Jay White was able to apply the Blade Runner onto Pac, and just like that, it was over. Post match, we saw a beatdown onto, of course, uh, on Jay White. Hangman Page shows up, and then, of course, Orange Cassidy show up by choking uh, Moxley with the camera cable. So basically, it became but like an understanding between Hangman, Jay White, and Orange Cassidy. However, in lurking in the gorilla in the tunnels, we did see Christian Cage watching. We know that he's determined to win the AEW World Title one way or the other, but we'll see where that leads. Now, for a couple of weeks since Jamie Hayter's return, we've been seeing, of course, Julia Hart interrupting her interviews and all that. But Jamie Hayter feels like, why? Why are you coming out now? What did I ever do to you? So it's more like she's trying to understand. Look, I have goals since coming back. And it was like she's telling her, I don't have any issues with you, but yet you're making effort to get my attention. So I think that's the thing that it's bothering her. We don't know why Julia Hart is doing this, why she made her decision to make Jamie Hayter, how to say, her stepping stone in her return. I think that's the question that Jamie Hayter has been trying to figure out. But we'll see where that goes. Now, Chris Jericho decided to give an awesome news about his Ring of Honor, thing, and he was, of course, happy about for something. Cannot recall, but we'll see where that goes. And excellent news, guys. Bandito is making his return. They do a little vignette where they're like an old Western setting. I thought it was pretty cool. And of course, Bandito showed up. Bandito was right there. I can't wait to see where that goes. Now, our next match, we have Penelope Ford versus Anna Jay. Now, of course, Penelope Ford has been out for a while, and Anna Jay is trying to bounce back to do what's next. Now, as you all know, she cannot challenge for the AEW Women's World Title as long as Mariah May is still champion. But however, this gives her time to bounce back to be the person that she says she's going to be. Someone who has nothing left to lose. And that's exactly what she's been doing since starting now. But you thought Penelope Ford had everything under control with the Mudo lock, but no. Anna Jay was able to apply a gore bomb and ended right there. However, Mercedes Moné showed up. I think she was trying to knock her out, but Anna Jay bounced back. So we'll see where that goes, and I'm sure we'll see those two face off soon enough. Now, Renee Paquette talks with Mariah May after what transpired attacking her. Well, Mina Shirakawa decided to show up and give her a bottle of champagne and ask her to whack her face right in front of her now. So we will see how that rolls up right there. I think that's the thing. I think I don't know if Mariah May thinks she has what it takes to take on Mina. Mina has been a strong wrestler, but also we have seen her darker side. Remember, she has that bloody Mina the bloody angel Mina we have seen. I mean, many people probably want to see that, but we'll see. Now, our main event, we have the Continental Classic with the Gold League, Brody King versus Claudio Castagnoli. Now, remember, Claudio tried to take out Darby Allin, but Brody King, in the other hand, stood in front of him, not to let him get away with it. And that helped. However, how would this match happen? I mean, these two guys are two of the strongest powerhouses in AEW. But in a nutshell, Claudio decided to do whatever it takes by eye gouging Brody, then giving him a low blow without the ref noticing, and then, of course, the neutralizer. And just like that, he gets 6 points in the lead. So that means Kyle Fletcher and uh, Claudio are the leads in their respective block. Claudio in gold, um, Kyle in Kyle Fletcher on the blue league. So we will see how things will go with the tournament. So we'll see. But for right now, let's end things here with AEW Dynamite and move on with our last and final thing, news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news update. So this is what we have for all of you. Now, as you know, on the highest en route taking place next week on the 14th of December, we have Janelasis, the tag team between Joey Janela and Megan Bayne. They take on Richard Holiday and Pero. Then we have, of course, on the 29th of December in Seattle, DEFY Wrestling with Blueprint. The Outrunners making their debut there, and they take on Midnight Heat. So that's going to be a lot of fun. As you all know, FWC, Koguma and Ozuki will be making their official challenge in Oz Academy for the Oz Academy tag team belts to take on Sonoko Kato and Ryu Mizunami. So that's going to be a very interesting match. Now, as you know, Meiko Satomura is on her, on her road to retirement that will end next year, I believe, in April. Well, it's been announced by German promotion WXW for the Back to the Roots on the 16th of January in 2025. Meiko Satomura will be making her return after 5 years being in this promotion. So that's going to be a lot of fun. So she's looking forward to it. So I'm sure that every German wrestling fan are going to be so happy this year. Now for our only development, many of you may remember this former WWE superstar, Rene Dupree, who was a member of the, of course, of the La Resistance they're actually French-Canadian, but they actually play the French revolutionary types. Well, Rene Dupree just recently mentioned that he is getting help for his substance abuse issues. So he made a statement on this. Let me pull it out for all of you so we can see it. Here it is. This is what he had to say. The power of addiction is cunning, baffling, and powerful. When you think you have it under control, that's when you should worry the most. Once you have that disease and the addiction that it holds of you, it won't let go. I made a decision to start going meetings again. Narcotics Anonymous, I want to thank all the fans who supported me throughout this time. I'm going to persevere. It's just a bump in the road. Thank you guys so much. I apologize again in the bottom of my heart for my behavior and unprofessional last night. Now, of course, the last time I saw him, he was making appearances in Pro Wrestling Noah. I don't know what he's been doing recently, but it's great that he's getting help. I mean, he knows it's not an easy thing for him. I mean, it's not an easy thing to get away from. I mean, it's hard. I mean, look at what happened with Dave Mustaine. It took him to 15 rehabs, almost him dying and all that. That kind of sets it up. But we'll see what happens. I just hope he gets back on his feet. That's the one thing I would love to see. So I think that's pretty much it. So I believe it's time to call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, we still got more with New Japan Pro Wrestling with World Tag League. I believe we have A-block matches, but also we have TNA and Ring of Honor. So we'll see how that rolls up from there. But as I mentioned before, this week is going to be a little difficult since I'm heading back to work. But we'll see what happens. Hopefully I get everything done in time. But for now, we'll leave things as it is, and I'll see you guys on the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. And have a nice day. Bang.